Come on, guys.
Let's do this.
I love the look of this door.
Wow, I didn't hear.
Dude, I can't even wait. I can't even
What's
wait.
about to happen right now? Damn, it's so different. Oh my goodness.
Holy shit, this place is blowing up.
Hey, it's Subcool Weed Nerd.
Mz.Jill.
Get your bowls,
And your bongs.
pipes, your
And your
vaporizers.
big fat blunts.
It's time to get high with the weed nerd. Well, I'm a weed nerd. It's called me smoke a lot. Don't give me that, me no wanna crack. Now we no study that. Weed nerd, nothing but the hard grade. So won't you come my way? So won't you come my way? Weed nerd. It's called me smoke a lot. Don't give me that, me no wanna crack. Now we no study that. Weed nerd, nothing but the hard grade. Smoke a lot of herb, smoke a lot of herb.
Come on, weed nerds, let's all get down to that old school sound with that K-Lou pound. Put seeds in the ground, tilling up the dirt. Shovel in my hand and I'm putting in work. Weed nerd, connoisseur, growing the killer. In the backyard with the mountain gorilla. Game stiller, chill another, what you think? Mz.Jill's got tips on growing the dank. Cheese plate, Aldo, Indo funky. Time wreck hack, laced in my blunt see. Skunky, smelly, space bomb sticky. Stepped in the dough, got the whole team with me. Iggy Pops, my city's hot. Ukiah, California, got the green on lock. Chillin' in my weed crop, blowing some herb. Dope boy, OD, yeah, I'm a weed nerd.
That's right. We are weed nerds, and welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight, baby?
I'm doing fantastic. And at the start of this wonderful show, I think it's time to
Get high with the weed nerds?
It is.
Yeah, get high with the weed nerds. Sometimes we get so damn excited for the show that I forget to slow the hell down. So this is the point where we slow down. Sometimes I go through the entire front page, do the dabs, do the intros, and we're like 6:04. So we're gonna slow it down tonight.
Let's slow it down.
Take a fucking
You know,
breath.
it's Saturday fucking night. Let's smoke
I
some
just get
bong
carried
hits.
away is all I do. So bowls up.
Cheers, stoners.
Like y'all don't see me hit that pipe 1,000 times a week online. We have an interesting show tonight. I'm really excited to talk with Jason of Fino Seed Bank. We met Jason a couple years ago, and a really cool story. I think he asked me and a couple other breeders what to do, and we told him to go big. So I think he's got like fucking 10,000 hemp plants or something now. We're going to learn all about that, as well as CBD and stuff like that. Also on the show tonight, I am really excited to have Tony on with Galactic Gardens. He is often appears on the show, but tonight he's got some new testers that he has completed working inside.
Is he going to be coming unstoned?
I don't know if he's going to be coming unstoned or not. It's early there, and I don't know if he's eating any medibles tonight. Also in the house tonight, we're going to be talking with Mendo Dope. Lots of cool stuff going on with them. 2 gardens this year.
Those are 2 of the most awesome guys
They are.
I have ever met.
2 gardens. They're on frickin' tour. They're releasing songs. We're going to listen to a brand new single tonight from Mendo Dope.
Wow, they're just putting that shit out.
They are. Also tonight in the house, TJ Will. He is always in the house for you guys. So when you guys on the channel go, where can we get TJ Sees? Well, he's fucking sitting there. He's probably got a pack in his hand. He's probably got his drone on his desk. He's fucking
And
ready.
the other thing about TGA Will, you know, when we have new testers and we have new releases, the very first place you will get them is TGA Will.
Oh, yeah. He will be the first person to have deadlights.
So yeah, and Time Wreck, that's going to be coming out mid-November.
Because you're making it. You loaded it last night, right?
I loaded it 6 nights ago. So my ladies were with the mail for, 3 nights ago. So they had a 3-day rendezvous, group sex, whatever you want to call it. I had 4 ladies in there and 1 dude, and they were getting it on.
And you got, it's kind of funny, you got a little, not sick, but the first night you got pollinated, you got tore the fuck up.
Well, you know, I haven't used the Vortex mail before. I've ran the JTR mail and the Space Queen mail back in Oregon. Those were my 2 mails. And your body gets used to that pollen just like any other type of pollen, hay fever, you know, anything else. So last time I went in, I didn't have that type of fillings and allergy type symptoms.
Got a little used to it. Also in the house tonight, so David will be getting with him in just a little bit to find out about his outdoor garden. I know he's been working his ass off last week when I talked to him. He was battling some bugs, so we will see how that's going. As always in the house tonight, Malik is in the house, making sure holding everything down. But before we get with Malik and the charities, happy to have Minnesota Nice in the house tonight. I know he's been busy as shit. How are you doing there, buddy?
Doing good. Thank you, everybody, for having me here with you. It's nice to be on with the homies, Mz.Jill. I'm super excited about this and extremely excited to drop the new tunes for you guys tonight. So I got a little sneak peek of the song. Haven't even heard the whole thing myself, and it's fucking fantastic. So just want to say thank you again, everyone. And
very cool. Very cool. Thank you very much. We're going before we get to Mz.Jill, I got some questions for him. We will be queuing up the brand new joint from Mz.Jill right here on the Weed Nerd Live Show. Malik, talk to us about the charities. How did everything go last week? How are the payouts going? Did you receive the money from Alpine Alternative? Bring us up to speed.
Yes, we got the money from Alpine Alternative. Huge shout out. They've been collecting donations for us and they did amazing. Also, we made a donation in the last 2 weeks for $1,000 between Jada and Shane. So huge shout out to everybody, all the Weed Nerds, for the hard work for that. Sleeper Nation, one of our regulars in chat, he reached out. He has somebody close to him, old hippie. His name is Don. He's a Navy veteran. He suffers from PTSD, edema. He's in a wheelchair. I spoke with him earlier. He's in chat watching. He's going to try to jump in with us, but that's the donation we're trying to go for today, guys. And anything you can do to help, it's going to be awesome. It's one of the regular Weed Nerds. Let's give him some help.
And what was his name again?
Don Philbrook, Old Hippie is his nickname.
Hi, Don Philbrook, Old Hippie. Thank you for your service so that we can all be sitting here today smoking bowls and having you on our show.
So we may hear from him or not, but I've heard a little bit about his story, and I want to tell you about it a little bit more. Basically, we served our country. We talked about that, but he's considered a terminal, and he has pain, depression, among any other issues. He also, he has edema so bad it's basically eating him alive. He has diabetes and PTSD. But here's the fucked up part: his injuries are not considered battle related, so the government's not fucking helping him out. So he's basically in a turd bucket sitting there stewing, and we could help him out. Yeah, he's a combat vet.
Well, you know, in my opinion, someone who has fought for the country and they get something later in life, I think a lot of that is from all the chemicals and crap they were exposed to, jet fuel and just all that type of crap.
It's possible. So make sure that you check out the link, the GoFundMe link, and as well as you can also donate directly to growingtogether.org. Amazing organization. And I'll let you guys know, I'm going to write a story a little bit later on about that. Hey, how you doing tonight, Don? If we can get his mic off. He's got his mic on.
Get your mic on, Don.
Yeah, I was told not to have it on.
Hey, brother. No, you're good. Thank you for coming on, my friend.
I'm not a combat vet, bro. I was 77 to 83.
Okay, I got you.
That's why I can't get help. It's not service connected.
I got you. Well, we do appreciate you coming on. What is the worst situation that you're dealing with right now that maybe a little bit of funds could help?
Well, the fact that I can't get anything to stop the progression of my legs rotting off. I'm having what is basically organ failure, and his skin is an organ. And I'm having these diabetic ulcers on my legs that are, I'm worried about infection. Because if they get infected, I'd have to lose my limb. But they can't put me in surgery to do it because I've had 27 heart attacks. So if they put me under.
You know, we bring people on like Don. Thank you for coming on, Don. Not to make fun of or ridicule and all, to let you guys know that when we help people, it's as fucking real as it gets. So we appreciate you putting a face on this charity for us tonight, Don. And our prayers are with you, buddy. And we'll see if we can't get you some help tonight, okay?
Well, I certainly do appreciate all the help I can get, and I accept it with grace and gratitude.
Sir, would you be open to donations of flower or concentrate medicine through donation from someone near you if we have anybody near you?
Of course.
Can you give us the county you're in?
Malik will get it. Don't say it publicly.
Okay.
Yeah, Malik will get your information, and we'll put the Weed Nerd Network. Don't say it online. We'll get Malik to get your information, and we'll get the Outlaws working on it. Fucking insane.
It's all legal here. I just don't have anywhere to get anything because there's no outlets.
What state are you in? Can we ask that real quick?
Nevada. I'm in Nevada.
Okay.
Nevada. Okay. So Nevada weed nerds, please contact Malik if you're willing to help this gentleman out.
Absolutely. So thank you, guys. Thank you for coming on, Don. We do appreciate it. I don't want to take up any more of your time tonight. I hope you'll hang around and watch the show as we get started tonight. So thank you very, very much, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. That is Don Philbrook, old hippie. And as you guys see, he could use our help. So go check out his GoFundMe page or hit Growing Together. So also tonight, we are going to be doing the Gleam giveaway, I believe, for the Tariq Rosin press. Is that correct, Malik?
We're going to be doing that next week when Tara comes on. Don't have that set for today. Yep, next week though. It's going to be a big, yeah, he's so cool. And it's a little compact press that really anybody can use at their house. So it's so versatile.
I wanted to tell you, give us a shout out to Jill. I think Jill is the reason that Jason's here tonight. Jill has a lot of contacts, and I kind of wear people out talking to them all the time. Sometimes getting a text from Subcool, if you're not a fan, is not that fucking big a deal.
Well, I actually worked with Jason and his partner from Fino Seed Bank at Colorado High Times Cup. I believe it was 2014.
Isn't that where you swept Jilly Bean and didn't enter?
Yes, Jilly Bean took 4 cups that year, and Fino was kind enough to allow me to take a space at their booth to sell my seeds because I'm not from Colorado, right. And a couple of other seed banks, DJ Short was one of them. So anyways, thank you to Jason, and glad to have you here.
Very cool. So we're fixing to listen to Mendo Dope's brand new joint, and I'm going to get with Mendo Dope up on top of the mountain. But first, I got to tell you guys something. I never read this. Malik does so much stuff for the script every week that doesn't get on the show. So we want to make sure this one gets counted. So my expert panel, email tjaproducers@gmail.com and tell us what you bring to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself or your product or your expertise. Don't forget to include your links. Also, as expressed in this production are that of the individual. All gardens portrayed in this production are legal medical gardens and responsibility of it. We have a fucking disclaimer. I've never read the disclaimer before.
We do not always condone or back up anything said by others on this
and
podcast.
do not act like the host or you may get your ass in trouble. Hey, we ready to hear this new joint by Mendo Dope?
While we get high.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Catch up.
New shit. New shit. Let's do it.
New shit.
Cannabis culture. Man, you know how we get down. We're changing the world one plant at a time. Because we do the hashtag whoop whoop. Come on 3. Whoop whoop together. Woo!
Everywhere I go, I'm blazing. Busting flows on a mic with rattlesnake skin. Hey, let's keep opening up they mouth. What is it they saying?
He's white, he can't rap. Style soft, flow is whack.
Give me the lyrical strap and I clap. I'ma take this back to 05. Hopping in my ride, the Nunya crew. The ones who lace my boots and tie my shoes. That sticky goo up in the lungs. I took a puff and passed it on. I was hooked on strictly aromatics. That's the dragon bomb, and I'm a farmer. Trichome collecting and rosin pressing. This my profession, no question. I got it in my possession. I'm always stressing. See, my backyard is a ganja jungle. The roll is testing. We stay solid, can't make us fumble. I'ma throw my M up to the sky for the ones who represent. Recognize my face in every state and country, hood and section. Call me OD in a Mendo Dope in motion. Roller coasting, coasting while I'm rolling, doja smoking. I keep it growing. You know what I'm all about. I got that endo and now I got a jar for the drought. I keep it growing. You know I'll never run out. Too many flavors to count. Yeah, we gon' smoke out the house. I keep it growing. You know what I'm all about. I got that endo and now I got a jar for the drought. I keep it growing. You know I'll never run out. Too many flavors to count. Yeah, we gon' smoke out the house. It's zoonosis when I burn this down to roaches. Worldwide, just check the postage. Then coast to coast across the pond and over the trees, we grow this. I hold this mic like samurais with a sword. Burning crazy flame, that crazy train, and I holler all aboard. I made the toast when when game was bored. I sip my cup, light my blunt, and all that square shit is ignored. Must have struck a chord with Cam, cause they came and chopped my plan. System trying to turn on me, booking and burning me, cuffing me up, but ain't holding me back. Bust raps on a new level. Outlaw, I'm a true rebel. Smoked out on that gold medal. Doors open, let smoke settle. Ghost ride down dirt roads, jump back in and rally. Grow trees like redwoods, yeah, them boys from Cali. The dope scene, the smoke that's so clean. I rep my whole team, solventless salves, having Mo Green, got that gold bling. Cuban grower, full melting bubble. Heisenberg type of hustle, purist pulling, I crumble, I keep it growing. You know what I'm all about. I got that endo and out. I got a jar for the drought. I keep it growing. You know I'll never run out. Too many flavors to count. Yeah, we gon' smoke out the house. I keep it growing. You know what I'm all about. I got that endo and out. I got a jar for the drought. I keep it growing. You know I'll never run out. Too many flavors to count. Yeah, we gon' smoke out the house.
There you have it, the brand new tune, Keep It Growing by Mendo Dope. Here's in the house tonight. How you guys doing?
We doing good, Sub. How you guys doing? Woo!
Fuck, we're killing it, man. Woo. You're up there in the garden, I see.
Yes, we're having
y'all in the backyard or y'all on the mountain?
We're at the house right
now. You're in the backyard?
Yep, we're in the backyard.
Oh, okay.
We'll try the mountain next time though. We get good Wi-Fi up there.
I saw your I saw your biggest clone. How big is that fucker?
Oh shit! We're standing next to it right now. It's shit.
Big, 14 by 10 foot wide.
Tall, 10 wide. Yeah, like 14 foot tall, maybe. I don't know. This motherfucker is huge.
All right, now I gotta ask you, and I mean this isn't on the script. So, what's the deal with the black? I see everybody doing it. It looks hot as fuck. Is that just for cleanliness?
Yeah, because of the bugs, we wanted to do it in the beginning of the year. We finally ended up finding the right stuff that we liked. And it also, because we were doing drip work, we wanted to be able to not have to lawn mow in between the drip lines.
Yep, and this is just the start of it. So this is just going to be the bottom. We're thinking either, I don't know, we got some ideas of what we want to put over the top. So it's not just going to be all black with soaking up too much heat.
It's not as bad as you would.
Why wouldn't you use... Would it be stupid though to use like white on top of it, or maybe a tan on top? Is that dumb?
I think tan might be cool, but white is going to be blinding. You'd have to be. It's going to.
No,
be
yeah, no,
like
white would cook
crazy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
white.
So I think the black.
I'm thinking like the color of a smart pot.
It actually breathes pretty good, so the ground air comes through and it cools down pretty fast. As soon as the sun's off of it, it cools down in a second.
Yeah, it's really not too bad.
Okay, cool. Well, I see it everywhere. That's why I had to add. Every time I see it, I'm like, yeah, there must be reasoning behind it. So there you go.
We have the chips. That helps keep our ground cool, keep the dust down.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. So you guys had the bad bugs. Did y'all get rid of the bad bugs yet?
Yeah, we did. We got rid of them in July. We found them in the end of June on the plants again. Last year was our first year having them, so we found them again this year.
Gotcha. So if you guys don't know, without getting too, their garden right there where they're at is, I mean, it's not next to the highway, but it's not far from the damn highway. And I've always believed this fucking California putting the russets all over the side of the highway. Do y'all think that's actually what happens, or?
Yeah, we talked to a bunch of people now. We've done a major research this year, and different people all around the world have said the same thing. So the Caltrans is doing the russets to control the weeds, to help them knock down, to do less weed whacking.
Yep, and then what that's doing is going.
No, I don't think it's specifically for growers. I think it's just a weed control bug that they release.
And it ends up goes down to the vineyards, and then when the vineyard people start spraying all their stuff, it spreads, and they try to get out of there, so they find anywhere close, and they end up getting on gardens and whatever.
We do believe also that it's in the straw that we use with the no-till. So last year was the first time using the straw, and I do believe it could be maybe a possibility that there's eggs in the straw that we're getting because the straw is probably cut from the side of the freeway.
I've heard that about straw.
There's
Absolutely.
fields all over the place that the bugs have to go on the fields too. There's no way.
It's really trippy. The rustics are so savage how they hibernate and they winterize and everything, so they could hide for so long and then pop out. It's a trip.
Yep.
That's so you did biotactics help you guys get rid of them? What was the solution to getting rid of them this year?
Biotactics helped for a little bit, but as it kept getting big, as the plants kept getting bigger and the bad ones were getting real bad, we actually did for the first time wettable sulfur. It's the first time we had to go that far with a couple of the plants, and that killed it. We did it in July, right before everything started flowering. So I'd like to hope through the test results that we'll get this year, everything's still clean. We've tried about a dozen different products and none of them worked. We did all the organic methods. We heard people trying with different oils, different soaps, different alcohols, different habanero sprays, different everything you could imagine we tried, and nothing worked. So I believe this is now going to be a problem every year that you're going to have to face. So it'd be smart probably to do a teeny bit of sulfur in the beginning and hope that you stay clean, and then hit them with the organic sprays while you get into further in bloom, and biotactics to finish off the bugs that are still hiding if you do have anything at the end.
Now I'm going to take a lot of heat from this next question, but have you guys ever thought about maybe when there's no cannabis and no food crops around, maybe treating the area with something a little more to try to knock them back? Because like you say, you obviously have them now.
But not in your soil where you'd plant your plants, just around the area, so it would never come in contact.
I believe that most likely the sulfur would be enough if we were to spray the property down with the sulfur mist.
Yeah, and just because we have the animals that are always out in the yard wandering around, we don't want to spray anything that's gonna somehow in any way, toxic anything.
Our dog's covered in weeds every time he comes in the house.
You know how the cats be out there eating grass and shit, so we don't want to contaminate
Also would work its way to the water table. So,
and it just so you guys know, I ask a lot of questions that just so people can hear. We don't use pesticides here at the house, and we have spiders here that'll fucking kill a cat, but we live on a well, and I don't want that shit getting in my land, getting in my well, and I drink it. It's just the way it is. So we don't use a lot of pesticides either. Hey, I want to talk about something off the cuff. I heard it last night from a friend of Jill, well, a friend of ours, Jeb Mosier Seeds up in Oregon, got a gorgeous garden. You can check him out online. But they've been doing some really cool experimentation with bricks. So he says that any plant that tests above 12.5 on the bricks content will not get mold or mildew. So I was wondering if you guys have ever heard of the bricks testing, and you've ever heard of anything like I'm talking about.
The only thing I heard about was recently Soil King's been doing a lot of experiments with different things also. And he did a powdered sugar spray to make it so there's so much sugars that they overdose on it, I guess. So it's probably a very similar thing to that.
Yeah, that's it.
So he did say that it seems to be working, and we didn't try that. That was something new that just came out of nowhere. So could be.
Yeah, it's something he studies. He does a lot of plant science, and he's been doing a lot of samples of his actual garden. And he says his plants that are above 12.5 never, ever have a problem. So it's just cool. And he stimulates that with humic teas. There's no magic here, okay? I would imagine, knowing you guys as well as I do with your popcorn teas and everything you're doing, that your soil is about as happy as it can be. And I would imagine your bricks levels are pretty much off the chart, which leads me to a question. So one of the things I'm not doing here, simply because there ain't enough fucking hours in the week, but you guys are still doing popcorn teas. Could you tell us a little bit about what sprout tea does, and then why it's beneficial, especially in low till or no till?
Yeah, I mean, we could say, or Minnesota Nice could probably get a little deeper.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that, a few years back, we put out the video on YouTube for popcorn tea. I could definitely dive in with you guys. Using enzymes to help clean up your soil and everything it's something most growers are used to. We all supplement an enzyme in one way, shape, or form. But when we're talking about making our own enzymes, there's a few things that we have to take into consideration. And one of them would be, what else is, in the item that we're extracting the enzymes out of. So in our case, we like to use alfalfa seeds, and we like to use popcorn seeds. And the two biggest reasons are because of the growth hormones that come out with those. And in alfalfa, it's tricontinol. and that is shown to increase the vigor and the growth of the plant throughout the entire growth cycle, or its entire life cycle. Most of the time, those are used in vegetative states, and I think that that has a lot to do with the fact that alfalfa in itself has a lot of nitrogen in it, and it's typically used in veg. The other one would be the popcorn tea. We use popcorn because it has cytokinins in it, and cytokinins are your growth hormone that's going to increase the cell wall strength and the division of the cells, and it's going to multiply the size of your buds. And you know, that's typically why we use it in flowers, because it's like a booster. You know, it doubles up the cells a lot faster than we can, so it just spirals the ratio out of control for us and helps us out along the way.
So let me ask you, is there a way to, if you're someone like me who makes a super soil, is there a way to put this into the super soil mix that sits for 12 weeks so it can break down by the time the plant is ready? Or is it something that has to be watered in as a tea?
Absolutely. There's many ways that you can kind of get around having to sprout your own seeds. And one that I like to use a lot of is actually using pre-malted grains. You can buy malted barley. They even sell different types of malted corn, and malted barley is really easy to get. You find it at like a beer brewing store. We just use an organic 2-row, I think it is, malted barley. We just powderize it and then we put it into our soil. I think when we add it to the soil mix, we use somewhere around a half a cup per cubic foot of soil.
Okay. So does it change any pH or alter any of the other nutrients that would be putting in, or would it not affect?
You know, honestly, I don't think it's going to affect it. Matter of fact, it'll just help with the breakdown and the organic process in general. So absolutely, it's beneficial for, enzymes are beneficial, and the malted grains I like to use. I have stepped away from sprouting seeds most of the time, and now I just kind of grind the grains up, the malted grains, and sprinkle a little handful on each plant every week and call it good. So
we can do that.
You know, think about the health benefits of bean sprouts, you know, any fresh sprouted stuff that we eat.
Yeah. And you know, the whole thing is the hormone levels. And if you think of when something is trying to grow from nothing, it's going to pack its whole bit of energy that it has to sustain into that whole process of sprouting. You know, it has that's what makes or breaks its life right there. They don't have another option, and all we do is just harness that. So
it's badass.
Amazing. I love it.
Back to the garden with Mendo Dope. So what's your guys' favorite plant in that garden?
Well, it's a very hard year. There's a lot of them that they're at a close tie, and it's hard for them to keep up with the locomotion and the grease monkey and the vanilla and the baby Jesus that we've had. But I'll tell you what, one of my the ones that's catching my eye is the raspberry smash. Yeah, raspberry smash seems special. And we have two different Finos here at the house. Yeah, one of them has got the straight purple stalks on it. I don't know if you can see it or not. On the mountain, there's a couple that are budding pretty hard, and they have black pods already started. So that's pretty badass. Yeah, so we got the purple stock Fino, and then over here in the front is the green Fino, we call it, just because it's all green. No purple in it. So it's looking real nice.
Well, you know, one of my new hashtags and also vocal hashtags is shout out to the breeders. So Heroes of the Farm created Locomotion, and it's just an amazing, amazing strain. And
I got some flowering right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, gorgeous plant, the coloring and everything. And so Raspberry Smash was basically a freebie. He brought all the stuff that we buy. We're doing business. I'm still, Heroes of the Farm. And he has this bag, and it says Raspberry Smash on it. I'm like, what do you want to do with those? He goes, well, I don't know if I'm going to make it again or not. I'm like, what do you want me to do with them? He goes, give them out. So everybody you see growing those dank-ass plants out there, they were just giving out. So I love those.
That's badass.
Free weed.
Yeah, man.
Free weed.
Free weed. Free up the ganja. Yep. So we kept a mother of one of them, so we'll have it around. And one of them, up on the mountain, we have a Raspberry Smash for our mic stand, and it's so dope. It's all purple stock. It's a beast.
So tell us about the mountain. You're down in the house now, so tell us about up on the mountaintop. And I'm coming up to see you guys this week.
Nice. Perfect. Well, you'll get to experience it firsthand, but the mountain is doing good. Everything is transitioning real fast, it seems like.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit, it's going to be picked before everything down here for sure, which is cool. Thank God, almost. It's going to be a hectic year for us.
Yeah, it's been busy.
Yeah, well, that's my next question on the list is I'm standing in the garden looking at one fucking plant that would take literally me and Jill and Badger a fucking week to take down one plant in my garden. I'm so intimidated by just the taking the caging down.
Me 2 hours probably to trim that because that's how slow I trim. You guys be done in like 3 minutes.
So how are you guys going to record, do all the shows, 2 mountaintop gardens, and where the fuck are you going to hang it?
Holy shit, right?
Well, first off, I don't think we're going to be recording a season 3 for Live in the Garden this year. We're taking a break off of recording. We're just going to be doing some songs here and there. We're going to play around with the band, probably do something in the garden, but not a full album. And we'll have a drying section up top, and then here we'll have a separate spot for everything.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing a lot of frozen stuff too. And even Bond's going to be coming out, and he's going to be washing with Frenchie's machine. And on some of that stuff, we're just going to do live right off the plant, not frozen. Some we'll do frozen. So we're going to do a whole bunch of fun stuff with the hash. So that's going to take a lot of chunk of our time and save us.
So what do you
time,
do?
you know
Can I ask you so you'll go into a garden and what do? You take a chainsaw and what do you have to cut down one of those with? And then what do you do?
Well, you have to start on the outside. You just work your way. You just pick a spot and just work your way around the cage, and then you can pull that outer cage off, and then you start working your way in closer. And then by the time you get in there, you're down to stuff that's really not even buds. It's such small stuff in the middle. So you'll just be either, chopping that little stuff down into bags to collect for some resin, or just getting rid of it depending on how the inside looks,
So what do? You just toss your big leaves, they become compost, your fan leaves?
Yeah, we'll just collect them into a pile.
Yeah, we'll probably just throw them right into the soil maybe this year.
Yeah.
And just, let them decompose right in the soil and just let it just kind of do the circle of life. We're just letting it redwood forest style, like Minnesota says, we're just letting it naturally break down and do its thing.
It might be a funny looking pile.
Are you going to wet trim or are you going to dry trim?
It's all dry.
Yeah, except for what we're going to be doing fresh frozen, just taking off the certain leaves. But other than that, everything is always dry trim.
Just because you have such a large amount, you need to get it out of the field so it doesn't mold.
Yeah, there's no way that we'd like to get right before it goes to shit, right at that perfect peak if we can. So there's no way we'll be able to do it all fresh off the plant. Like that's why you guys sometimes are like, holy shit, how do you do that? But we'll just take it down as fast as possible, dry it, and then slowly get through it through the rest of the year. We just got rid of
seeing shit on the internet I've never seen before. So first off, yes, I'll be dry trimming too, because you can't fucking wet trim 60 pounds of weed. You got to get it down. First thing I saw about a week ago, I saw a bucking bucket at Soil King. Is that what I think it is? Is that a bucket that takes? Oh fuck, dude! They got companies now that make machines that you just stick. I know you've seen them. Who would have thought that a fucking cannabis bucking machine would have ever been a product in America that could be sold? And I see it on my Instagram account.
Yeah, it is pretty badass. We're still skeptical of every machine, but it looks badass for sure.
Yeah, well, the bucking takes it. The thing about bucking, and if you guys have not trimmed a lot of pod, and I have only trimmed a little bit. I mean, compared to these guys, I am a fucking rookie. But one of the things that'll wear you out is actually, so you trim with little scissors. That's cool. And then you have usually a pair of lopping scissors to cut off the clips. But when you get busy, you don't switch scissors. So you start cutting off big branches with your scissors. And I mean, do you guys get hand fatigue? You guys are pretty young. Your hands fucked up?
Oh, yeah, our hands get tired after a while. Debranching is a bitch for sure. It becomes just as bad as a trimming when you have so much. It's backbreaking too, because you're up and down, you're moving totes, you're always in a tight area. It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't remember when it was. One of the last years we were harvesting, cutting down a bunch of branches, and I was kind of taking over and doing a lot of the big clipping. Oh man, the next day my hand was fucked up. It was like, damn, what the hell? I went too crazy.
How long does it take you to take down a plant?
We could take down in like 3 hours probably.
Holy fuck.
And if you guys have not been to it, and they can help me out, Mendo Dope has a video on their YouTube of them taking down, I believe it's a crazy train. Am I right?
There's
time
two
lapse?
videos. One's a cuvee and one is a locomotion. Yeah, the cuvee has a lot of views on it. That's the biggest one. And yeah, it shows in a time lapse form of us doing it. That took about 3.5
My
hours.
favorite part is you see fucking E sneak over and smoke a joint.
Yeah.
But it's so fast. It's like, and it's so repetitive. It's like bud, clip, and then you see this, and then he smokes.
Yeah.
You got,
That's
gotta
so
get too
crazy.
important.
It's like times 50 fast forward it or something. So,
Yeah, we'll probably have to do another time lapse harvest this year. We'll pick a plant out and do something fun with it.
Fucking awesome. So I know it's a long time from here. It doesn't seem like it with us all standing here. It seems like a long time from now. And it's going to be a season like there's never been before. But if you live in California and you're looking to buy some Mendo Dope, and by the way, I bought a gram of your hash. Support the brothers from Organic Can last week. I got the sherbet, banana sherbet. Was that it?
Sour banana sherbet
From Beazle?
yeah.
Yeah, sour banana sherbet from Beazle. Fucking delicious. So we still smoking some of the Beazle. So where can we get Mendo Dope this year?
It's at for sure Alpine still, and it's going to be at all the natural cannabis spots. So Oakland Organic, Santa Rosa, and Hopland, right in our hometown.
I love it.
We're still getting everything figured out. We're getting all as legal as we possibly can, and we're trying to do this shit. And there's a lot of. I just read a new article today in the paper talking about how there's 700 permit applications in process. They've only got 3 done. Gardens out here are getting raided that have permits. So even with the permits, they're still getting fucked. So everyone's in limbo right now. Very sketchy situations.
It's still fucked up.
It doesn't seem like the permits are doing anything this year. So let's hope next year we could get more organized. And
yeah, and I'll tell you where this is where we guys got. I mean, we're so busy lately. I mean, these guys are some of my best friends in the world, but we're always so damn busy that we don't get to hang out that much. So let's touch it up a little bit. So this is where we got. So we got to the prefaces. We got to this fucking biometric study, which here, yeah, you see her shake her head. So I mean, the guy tells us we need a septic tank, $70,000. Okay, I don't really want to spend that on a toilet. I'd like to buy a Tesla, not a fucking toilet. Okay, so we swallow that. Okay, sink. Yeah, handicap ramp. Okay, well, fucking now you're $85,000 just so the employee that can't shit in our house. Yeah, the employee can shit or wash his hands. Okay, so then we bring this biometric survey out. And everybody's heard me talk about this, but I just want you guys to put yourself in this position. So $7,500 for somebody to do a biometric survey. Well, I don't know what it fucking means. I figure a damn is coming to my house and cast a Spider-Man net over. I don't know. $7,500. I think I'm getting a lot of shit. And some hippie girl shows up. It's like she literally looked like the chick off of Scooby-Doo Velma. Nice lady, but she's in a white truck that had like some county stickers. And so she walked around the house and she found a weed called bird's beak. Now, this is where I fucked up. So I flip out and I'm like, wait a minute, this is just all too much. It's $80,000 for a shitter. And now this fucking hippie's walking around my property for $7,500, which is $15,000 a fucking hour. And so she finds this weed. So I freak out, flipped out on the guy, I walked off. Like, she's like, can you calm him down? I was like, I don't know. So I get rid of them all. Well, now, since I didn't pull the trigger, we don't know whether it's really a bird beak or not. And we don't know whether we can have a business here or not, whether we can actually own a cannabis farm here. But I'll lament about this. The reason we actually ended up stopping was nobody told us that this address, along with the name of our company and our names, addresses, social security numbers, and everything will be posted in the fucking newspaper.
The one that was on my birth certificate.
Yeah, the one that's on my birth certificate. Fuck you, man. I spent 25 fucking years trying to hide from people. You're going to literally put a blue sign in front of my house that says...
What's worse than the blue sign, because we're in a really quiet area, so not very many people would see it. Here's the fucking problem. The city, the state, the county apply for a permit. So here's a newspaper that goes in and gets a list of everybody that's applied for a permit and publishes it. Those people got fucking burglarized.
And by the way, also says I can't have a fucking firearm. If you didn't know, if you live in America and you're a cannabis grower, like most of us in this panel are, you've probably been told by your lawyer not to have a fucking handgun. Now, some of us choose to ignore that, but I'm sure it's serious trouble. So anyway, in the end, we stop. But now here's the thing that we don't like. We're a little pissed off because we let a few people know who we are. Like nobody knew who the fuck we were until we talked about getting legal. But now people actually know where the fuck we live. So
yeah, that's ridiculous. It's fucked up how they do that.
I'm gonna add a protection dog to my weapons.
Well, and then when we talked, and we're gonna move on to the next guest here in just a second. But the other thing I was gonna tell you guys, I talked to a couple of lawyers, and you know, they still literally, I talked to one this morning, they still don't know what's going to happen, what's going to change. And we were talking about this earlier. There's such a difference between what it costs to grow cannabis in Humboldt County, Mendocino, and Sonoma County. If everything goes like it's supposed to, land prices are fixing to soar where you guys are because everybody's going to want to move there and grow weed because it's legal in California, but it looks like it's going to be easier in certain counties. So. Crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And Frenchie said that too, because Frenchie was he knew this was coming, and he said, "You guys make sure you keep your property. You don't understand how valuable it's going to be to have a small farm, to do your just like how whenever we're talking about beer, you know what I mean, the craft beer spots and the difference. This property and properties out here are very valuable now. All of a sudden, it's insane.
And I'll have to say ours too. So now, even though we've decided not to move forward with the bird speak, and by the way. Still got to spend that money to find out whether we can grow here. But we do own a piece of property where you can grow. There's just a lot of things we can have to deal with. So maybe down the road, when it's not such a big deal for everybody to know where you grow pot, we'll think about it. Yeah, but for now, we're going to fund. Last but not least, it's funny you guys mentioned Bond because that's on my list. You guys got to share, dude. We're going to wear his ass out. We're going to get coffee or something.
Oh, yeah. He already said he's ready to put in mad work. So let's put him to the test.
He said other people too.
We're going to build him a coal room. Where are we going to get him a coal room? We got to build him a lab.
We already got something plotting over here for him. Yeah.
We got the big AC. We got dehumidifiers. We're going to seal shit up. We're going pro.
It's time to step it up a notch.
Solventless.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you guys very much for coming on. Tell us all
about
what's going
guys.
on.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us. It's been a long time. Much love.
Our phone's actually about to die too. That was perfect timing. Just in case
dude,
we're listening.
That's how we bring it, man.
Love you guys.
We are a nation.
It's awesome. Mendo Dope coming from us live from the garden. You don't get that too often. These guys stay on the road, stay busy, got a lot of shit going on. So that was pretty fucking cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I want to kick it over. Hey, don't forget, real quick, charity. So we're gonna go to Tony with Galactic Garden. So he's got to prep. We got to get to Tony before too long because they get fucking stoned and start grunting. Don't forget that we have some charities going tonight. We saw the nice gentleman earlier, Don Philbrook. I'm known for my tack. Basically, the world looked like it took a big giant shit on him, and maybe we could scrape a little bit off. So if you guys have anything left to donate, let me know. If you guys happen to live near him, get in touch with me, and maybe we could drop some weed
what
nerd
city
love.
was it?
Nevada. Yeah, he's in Nevada. So maybe we can. Nevada's in one of those states. I was watching TV last night. Nevada's one of those crazy states that still has the demonic right-wing cops that your stereotypical racist pull over the hippie or the black person and treat them like shit. At the same time, Nevada's going fucking legal, so you're gonna see some crazy stuff. We were watching a cop show last night and I saw somebody get pulled over. I was like, is it even illegal anymore in Nevada? So quick. So Tony, Galactic Gardens, one of my good friends, man has a TGA logo tattoo him on it. He's got some new crosses. Tell us about him, buddy.
I want to see the tattoo again.
There you go. TGA.
Fucking badass. You're so cool.
There you go.
How's it going? What's up,
We're
pal?
good. We're good. Yeah,
Good night.
good. Hi.
Dope. DJ Will. Fino. Yeah, we got some new testers. Bo was gonna stop by, but he couldn't make it, so I'm here solo. Because
That works.
yeah, the AK-47 times the Vortex male. This is all Vortex crosses. This is Bo's AK-47.
All right, tell them about the AK-630 because you told me about it. It's some special gun, right?
Yeah, it's a rotary ship gun, actually. You can Google it, and it's pretty badass. I think it was on one of your Weed Nerd shows a few months ago. I was stoned and kept playing the video over and over.
That's how seriously we take our names here.
Yeah. Next one we got
Loopy Lime.
Gorilla Glue 4 times Vortex. That's from that Gorilla Glue 4 is really nice. We've done that with.
And by the way, Tony, if you're not keeping up with the news, we're not allowed to say Gorilla Glue 4 anymore. We have to say GG4. Apparently, the Gorilla Glue pot company has so much fucking more money than the Gorilla Glue company that they're suing the fuckers, and they're not going to make them not say that. It's so fucking funny. It's like, we have more money. We have weed. So, yeah, GG4.
Am I gonna get sued now?
Yeah, Sticky Trap. I love it, dude.
Yeah, Sticky Trap. I got another one about Mz.Jill Lime Fino of Black Lime Reserve crossed with the Vortex.
Nice.
Can't come up with Loopy Lime. I like the name a lot. It's cute. Loopy.
And then the one Jill wants me to grow. That's
the one Jill's looking forward to.
Yeah,
this is my heirloom cut of Island Sweet Skunk. Old Federation strain I've had since 1997. Brought to me by my brother-in-law, Lou Hill. We got it from his buddy who had it for a few years. So it's been around. It's a grapefruit NL haze flavor. Grapefruit and
what's it crossed with?
The Vortex.
It's with the Vortex man. Yeah, all four of these are Vortex crosses.
I really need that one, Tony.
Yeah, I'm going to have to run that. So while
all of these are coming to you.
Yes,
yay.
Sir. So let's talk about testing. So the way you become a TGA tester is pretty simple. And maybe one day we'll stop the world for a week and come up with a website for this. But you simply email me, and you email me, and I'm going to send you an email back that says, "Send me 2 pictures and fill this form out." Anything but 2 pictures and filling the fucking form out is immediate disqualification. I'm serious as a fucking heart attack about this. I'm telling you right now, if you don't have enough sense to log on your computer and put 2 pictures in the email and then type on that little form I get you, whatever the fuck you grew last or whatever you grew first, I'm just trying to see you got some common sense. Common sense would be emailing me backwards and asking me any other question like, oh, do you want 2 pictures of something I've already grown? Well, fuck yeah. Common sense, common sense, common sense. So what I'm looking for in the email is that you can even fill the form out. Is that you're not a dumbass. And then I'll just send you some seeds and you grow them out. I figure if I can confirm that you are an intelligent human being when I send you the beans, maybe you'll grow them out, take some pictures, and get some data back. Excuse me, I'm gonna go off camera 1 second.
So while Sub's off camera, I would like to go ahead and say that I am looking for a grower in Oregon, Salem, near the Salem area, Marion County. My sister is looking for a medical grower. So if you are a medical grower looking for a patient, please email me at Mz.Jill at, oh wait, excuse me, wrong email, Mz.Jill of TGA@gmail.com.
Very cool.
So back to the tester thing. So the reason I'm such a dick about the testers is because last year when I was busy doing some other shit, our friends at North Star Genetics gave us all these testers.
And we fucked it off because nobody gave us information.
And 80% of them didn't come back 1 picture or 1 test result. So that's all there is to it. If you guys want to test, email us and get us some information. We'll get to you. I want to kick it over to my moderators. Minnesota Nice, are you in the house? I think he's on break. He's doing something.
I think he stepped away for a moment.
That's cool. Malik, do we have any business? Do we have any business to take care of for Jason?
No, we're good. I'm just so excited.
Cool. All right. So, oh, by the way, you have to load your bong.
Uh-oh.
It says dab smoke break on my list. See, it says dab smoke break.
Oh,
so
snap.
Hey, you're back. Well, we're going to play some music there for a little quick break before we got to Jason, Minnesota Nice. Let everybody regroup. We've been rapping for an hour.
Absolutely. I figured we listened to the new Mindo Dope tonight. Let's throw it back and let's listen to some old school Mindo Dope. So got some One Plant, One Season in store for you guys tonight.
We'll be right back.
We on? All right, Mando dope. One plant, one season. We put in work out here. Hole diggers. Up early in the morning when I'm watering and feeding growers. One plant, one season. We put in so much work and yet no one's believing. All for one plant, one season. When the sun's down, I'll be watching, I ain't leaving. One plant, one season. Cause we put in so much work, but yet no one's believing. It's one plant, one season. In January, I'm shopping for my seeds, looking for the new strains and the crossbreeds. In February, I'm chopping down some trees, cause all day sunlight is what I'm gonna need. Now I'm up in March, let my seeds sprout. Paper towel for the start, rapid root is what I'm about. And tech lights begin to grow. Rotate them into 1,000-watt, that's if you really a pro. Through April and May, then here comes June. I've been digging holes, tilling the soil and making room. 400-gallon smart pots, soil by the yard. Mud on my shirt, hands dirty on the farm. Up early in the morning when I'm watering and feeding. One plant, one season. We put in so much work and yet no one's believing. All for one plant, one season. When the sun's down, I'll be watching, I ain't leaving. One plant, one season. Cause we put in so much work, but yet no one's believing. It's one plant, one season. Now let me take them back a step to when my seeds rooted. I transplant them using White Widow when I do it. And all this time I'm waiting to see a female. They don't know how much work we put in before the weed sells. Planted in June, time aligned with the moon. 2 months of strong veg until they go into bloom. That's July, August, need water every 3 days, 60 gallons each. Life ain't easy for the ganja farmer these days. Common choppers fly low, and raiders come around and try to take what others grow. I'm from the mountains, cannabis is what I know. Putting blood, sweat, and years while I keep a crossbow. Up early in the morning when I'm watering and feeding. One plant, one season. We put in so much work and yet no one's believing. All for one plant, one season. When the sun's down, I'll be watching, I ain't leaving. One plant, one season. Cause we put in so much work, but yet no one's believing. It's one plant, one season. In September, paranoia's hitting every grower. We tying branches up to keep the buzz from falling over. And I've been sleeping in my tent now that it's got closer. Everyone can smell it in the air in late October. Before I pick, last 2 weeks plus. Getting ready for the harvest, get to hanging them up. Don't trim it before I dry it, let it hold that smell. And next month, turkey bags and fiskars go on sale. Still putting in work, November it's time for trimmings. Eating like Thanksgiving, this culture, this way of living till December. We clean it up and do it again, cause I got love for the breeders who putting the work in. Making pie in the morning when I'm watering and feeding. One plant, one season. We put in so much work and yet no one's believing. All for one plant, one season. When the sun's down, I'll be watching, I ain't leaving. One plant, one season. Cause we put in so much work, but yet no one's believing. It's one plant, one season.
Been hanging with the boys for a long time. They were kind of one of my introductions, our introductions when we came here to California. Kind of made us feel at home, all the stuff we got involved in with those guys and all the people we met. So next up, we have Jason with Fino Seed Bank. So Fino Seed Bank was started in 2014 with the goal of providing the cannabis industry with original strains by partnering with the world's best breeders. Fino is storing and supplying the entire cannabis genome, and they guarantee breeder original strains, no fakes, duplicates, knockoffs. So come join Fino family today. So just another project me and Jill have to get on, getting another. How many clones have I asked you to take in the last 2 weeks of each different strain we have? So helping bring back.
Well, my cloning chamber's full.
Yeah, we got to get in the bigger chamber. Helping bring back the birth of specialized hemp strains in America, United States. Awaken is truly an American strain with its roots going all the way back to the original hemp forefathers, created for a high CBD content and very low THC. It's perfect for medicinal use. Awaken also has an uplifting daytime effect on large grow yields and aromatic essence of royal pears. So me and Jason were talking off can about how people actually are moving toward hemp phenos over cannabis phenos. So tell us about Fino Seed Bank and how you got involved in the industry, Jason. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me, Sub and Mz.Jill. I really appreciate it. And I actually got started back in 2009, helping open a dispensary here in Colorado Springs. And then from there, I could see the value of the genetic side, working with some good breeders. And after that, we actually, when we started Fino Seed Bank, we had the goal of sourcing breeder original material because we knew we couldn't do it better than them. And that led us on a lot of our travels, of course, even up to NorCal and meeting you guys that first time through Joel and Jen with North Star, and having the honor of having Mz.Jill out for the cup. So that was kind of how we started, was just trying to build that good reputation with the breeders and try to start original genetic storage projects. That's kind of what Sub and I were talking about earlier, was trying to get a lot of these genetics that get lost in long-term gene storage, whether that be in seed format or in this case, we can do tissue culture now as well. So we're trying to work on those projects, get those available in both the medical and recreational scenes. And yeah, right now we've been breeding a lot of hemp. I think that's kind of been the topic of the day. But yeah, that's just the availability of breeding that over cannabis has been a blessing. There wasn't a lot of hemp strains when we started. And last year we grew 360 acres total on some of our pheno hunts. We actually had Jason King, author of the Canna Bible, come out and do some terpene hunts in our fields. And I think they're working on a documentary as well called Colorado Hemp that will feature that. But the big goal there was trying to do that, a lifetime's worth of phenotypic selection in one season. We had around 20 million plants up last year. I was just saying there in chat that we actually had 7 different fields throughout Colorado with 10 different seed densities. So we did everything from like super dense 32 pounds of seed, and this is like cannabis seed, but hemp, per acre, all the way down to orchard method. So it would be less than a pound of seed per acre. And we have pictures of that on our Instagram as well. Those are more replicating the cannabis industry and going more for a tree-based size. But yeah, that's kind of been our breeding endeavors. And now we're trying to get it back in a supply form, both in seed and in bud form, to the industry.
So and excuse if I've spent so much time on focusing on one thing that I've actually lost some of my activist information. So hemp was illegal in this country forever and ever. That has changed, obviously.
Definitely. And there's certain states right now that are coming online with their own hemp laws. A good example here in Colorado is one of the first states. And the key law is that the hemp genome has to be under 0.3% THC. And this is something that's actually tested by the Colorado Department of Agriculture here in the state. So they'll come out and test your fields every year, and then they bring that to their in-house lab and do the testing. So that's how they certify whether it's hemp. And that's a good example of how we certify our hemp breeding, is we try to keep it in certified fields over and over again.
So we had an unusual thing happen to us this year. We bought a seed counting machine from someone in your area, and his website was screwed up, and he sent us a pound of hemp seed for fucking $3,200. I blew my mind what he put on my credit card. But it was kind of funny. When I went to send them back to his company, he was like, yeah, but you send them to my house. Because they look just like pot seeds. I mean, they had a little chaff in them, a little green. So you were talking just a little bit earlier about like getting caught with hemp. Like you can actually get in shit, right? If you get caught with a pound of hemp.
Yeah, so this is like a big issue. Like we were joking about this. So you're transporting hemp from field to field. There is no law in Colorado after it's harvested on, you know, manufacturing, transportation, any of these logistical things that that are regulated in the medical marijuana and recreational industries. So if you got pulled over with especially Sinsemilla hemp, which I know a lot of people are new to, it smells, looks exactly like marijuana. I mean, you can fool me. You would literally have to take it to a lab. So it's one of these things where having your compliancy paperwork and making sure that everything is good on point there is crucial, because it's kind of creating a bunch of head scratching when you talk about the raw buds. I mean, of course, seeded buds is something totally different, and a lot of people put it in bale form. And we have bales of hemp driving down the highway. No one has, everyone thinks it's like straw, and you have all these buds just smashed together. So there's different formats there. But yeah, if you had just the raw plant, you could confuse even me.
So by the way, if you hadn't caught up on this, weed nerds, the man is actually saying he grows dank hemp. So that's it. Basically, it smells good. It's got terps. It's loaded in CBD. It just doesn't have this one drug. Now, are there other stipulations on hemp? Like, can it have other cannabinoids in it other than THC, THCA? Is there other stuff that's admissible, like CBG, any of that stuff?
So none of those cannabinoids are regulated specifically, and that's kind of been a big one, is THCV is not really regulated. THCA is, but is not as well. If you can keep it in an oil format, you fly under a lot of radars, according to some attorneys. Now, that's when you start going into the morality of business. Pretty much anything starting with the C category is what you want to stick to on the hemp side. If you have a raw oil, a good example, like if I have a plant that's compliant in a field, let's say 5 to 8% CBD and under 0.3, once you make a raw oil, you're actually around a couple percent THC. And by law, this would be considered a marijuana product, even though it was hemp derived. So a lot of these processors are having to either do fractional distillation to remove the THC, or isolation, which is your like CBD isolate, which we were showing before. The only reason I'm not a big fan of this kind of stuff is I haven't figured a way where you don't use like a harmful chemical for processing. So they do that in actually labs for drugs standards, which is really funny. Most people don't know that, but they're made with like benzene, pentane, hexane. So you don't really want those in your medicine. We use actually full spectrum oil ourselves, but we have to infuse it down in our products. So when we make things like our capsules, we're at 50 milligrams per capsule, but we're under 0.3% THC. And this is a full hemp product because we just infuse our full spectrum oil back into hemp seed oil. So it's a full hemp, full cannabis product.
So what type of products are you offering?
Actually, so we have a little boutique company called Eureka Effects, and you can get all our products 50 state legal on eurekacbd.com. But we make everything from, like we said, these capsules. We have tinctures. I have some right here, but we have some lotions and salves. So when you talk about those medicinal qualities of cannabis in an illegal marijuana state, these are a great option to try out, especially because, like I said, we keep it full spectrum. So there's a micro dose of THC in there, which we do believe is beneficial and helpful as a medicine.
So all of your product is harvested and used for this, or is
Correct.
there other uses? That's all you use it for?
Well, that's one of the main ones. A good example, the one that we were talking about, the field density of 32 pounds an acre. We actually sold some of that. We harvested it super early, and we sold just the stem material to a processor who sold it to Patagonia for clothing. So a lot of our stuff is being on the research and development kind of side. But we're waiting for these big processors to come online to process the seed and the stock. Until you have that decortication facility, it's like, by hand makes no sense. And there's already, people in Europe selling in mass that have those facilities. So it's only a matter of time.
Right.
I want to get back to the classification just so I understand it very well. So you talked about, going into the fields testing, and that's a field of seed that's grown. So one of the things that we just developed with North Star is deadlight. So we had a phenotype test at 25 CBD and under 0.03 THC, but that's one single plant out of tons. That's not hemp. You're talking about being able to go on a field and test multiple cultivars and still test under 0.03, correct?
Right, right. And we've been, like you said, pushing these indoor tests once we go to the off season to try to progress that CBD a little higher. But our main goal is always under the 0.3 because we want farmers to stay compliant when they purchase our seed and our product. So that's the main goal there. A second big one is, the second big one is yield. Hemp does not yield a lot when you talk about a lot of these CBD varieties. So we're going towards those higher yielding varieties that are going to yield a lot of oil on a per acre basis. But yeah, I mean, when you talk about even that kind of pheno, that's a great plant to have in that 25% under 0.3, especially if it's testing consistent and can breed to such.
Yeah. And we'll figure that out. That's our next. See, when we used to do this stuff, Jason, we didn't have the labs. We couldn't go any further. We just had, and even back then we didn't know if the lab, like when we started doing this, the labs would compete with each other for the highest numbers.
They would give you high
So
numbers.
you would use them. Nobody used the guys that were telling the truth, and the industry has changed so much. We're excited to be involved in it. So Jason, we have been so busy, me and you have not actually gotten together with our genetics. So we will be doing that next. So a benefit to the breeder would be, again, saving them. We talked before the show. Jack's Cleaner is basically held by one guy in England who I trust, and Duke Diamond and us. And that's really the people who have that cut. So we wouldn't ever want that lost. And so we could provide you with an F1 cutting of our mother plant. And then what happens to it?
So when we acquire genetics, whether it be in clone form or seed form, our goal is to store it as long as possible. So whether that's a replication project to get it into seed format and store it, or we take that clone and get it into a tissue culture format, which can be easily propagated and stored long-term in low temperatures if need be. But our key goal was just replicating, just like the Global Seed Vault in Norway. We wanted to get cannabis genetics in this long-term genetic storage so that we could be that genetic insurance program for breeders like yourself, and make sure that if there is ever a rainy day or breeders want to progress into a different area, they don't have to keep such a large genetic protection for themselves in regards to these large mother facilities, which I know, can cost a large amount of funds and to keep going. So we want to offer that, and then it also allows the progression aspect into the commercial area, because we're trying to license these genetics out to regulated commercial facilities and make sure that that breeder brand stays all the way down to the end product, whether it be in flower or oil, so that when you do know you're buying that product with TGA's logo on it, it has those Subcool standards.
Yes.
Well, and we're going to talk more off cam, because this is something me and Will, I'm going to bring Will on in just a minute to talk about Arizona and what we're doing there. But I mean, this is something that's really big for us because, and I'm just going to speak bluntly. So we were doing around $250,000 in Colorado before everything up. And I mean, literally you could drive down the street and there were like TGA logos and shit up in the air. It was kind of crazy for a little while. For whatever. I obviously missed the boat by not getting together with someone like you before we got thrown the fuck out of town. But I'm getting to a point. I know very little about the Matrix because I spend so much time doing other stuff. But we did do business with someone down there quite a bit, Maggie's farm. And apparently our shit's in the Matrix. So is that specific clone in the Matrix? And can you tell us a little bit? How come you can't buy fucking TGA genetics in Colorado?
So most of the dispensaries, once they acquire genetics, are trying to just use the strain name and then kind of be like, we're the grower, so we're going to try to push our brand, not the breeder. I think that's false advertising in this case, just like you're saying, when it's unregulated. Is your clone by name in metric? Yes. So it is in the regulated system at this point, and can be transferred from grow to grow. But that goes back to, without your breeder brand and approval, it's going to just be, I don't want to say a white label, but it can be watered down over time. And we saw the same thing happen with some of these Colorado original strains. They were in metric for a little bit, but they ended up being hoarded and people couldn't keep clone mothers really well. And those genetics were lost. So the names are still in metric, but the originality aspect is hard to measure at this point. And that's kind of our goal, is to bring that back and make sure, like you said, it's in a regulated format, that we have all these genetics protected and we can source them out to those grows under that breeder licensing. Whereas I think that was the mix up from the get-go. A lot of these grows, that's when I started, I had to do the same thing. We would take money and go just buy seeds and then pop them from breeders and try to grow that out. I think that day will change, because that's not yielding a consistent measure to the actual consumers.
Okay. So it sounds like we would be insane for you, since you're there. Why don't you find out what's in the matrix? And why don't we bang the drum for the next month or two, and let's get them in the system, okay?
Definitely. Would love to. Would love to.
Done.
Yeah, I don't want a bunch of flow running around Colorado with the name Jelly Bean on it. So let's get that shit.
No. And that's the worst part, is I see those clones, and some represent them very well and they're kept very well. But like you said, when you see the off versions, you're like, I don't want someone to get misbranded off of that. And that comes down to the grower themselves, not the breeder, as you know.
Right.
I want to kick it real quick. We're gonna stay on task here with Jason, but I want to kick it. Open up your mic, Will, if you would. So me and Will are working on the same kind of thing in Arizona. So we have a large grower that has built enough fucking space, any amount we want, basically said. We're kind of doing the same thing. We want to go in and we want to find the best phenotype and work. But one of the things that's really frustrating in this is that no matter how hard we work, no matter how much work we do with Will, or no matter how much work we do with Jason, those clones can't ever share each other. It is so crazy that we're going to have to do this in every state. Is that what you guys are seeing?
That's what we're seeing.
Yep.
Sure.
Until federal legalization happens, there's no cross of state barriers when it comes to genetic acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that changing? I mean, you're pretty heavily involved in this business. If you had 20,000 fucking plants, 20 million plants. So one of the things me and Jill are waiting on, and I'm not rolling the dice on this. Well, I kind of am. What we think is that they have made such a fucking mess out of the system that between now and the time they figured out, a bunch more shit is going to change. Because we talk about it quite a bit. One of the things that they've created already is this black market. They have already created a black market. I mean, people I know don't buy weed from dispensaries. They just don't. It's too damn expensive.
And
So
it's usually.
So Will, tell us a little bit about more just about kind of what we're doing in Arizona, how we're setting things up to do both flowers and the genetics themselves.
So basically, this show is like right up our alley. I mean, Jason's saying the same thing that we're doing. We need to hold the best quality with the name. I mean, if it's going to have TGA's name on it, it's going to be, above standard. It's going to be what you would think when you get a Jelly Bean or a Locomotion or whatever it may be at the time, But the state lines, I mean, he's correct. We're going to have to set this up in every single state. And it's until we change the schedule, we're kind of stuck with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we're creating a blueprint here. I mean, I know that Duke and Soul are already working with you, Jason, but this is so like a month ago, I was still trying to figure out how to ship my shit. And now I'm like, no, fuck that, dude. It's intellectual property. We can produce it. And I'll say, I mean, I'm an excellent grower. Jill is a excellent grower, but I was definitely a fucking better grower when I was 35 and I wasn't doing the taxes for a multi-million-dollar company. So my point is, I would like to put my genetics in the hands of someone that doesn't sit around doing taxes all day long. That's number one goal is to go into those 500 seeds, being cloned, or find that best someone that has, and that's the other thing.
That's really where it's.
I talked to these guys.
I have the skills.
I talked to these guys online last week, and these guys were like, whatever you need us to build out, we'll build a 300 by 96. We can dedicate. So, yeah, the Fino hunts are coming in mass. And the one thing that Jason, that I think is important that me and Will were talking about the other day, is to bring all this in with it. So a lot of companies create things behind the scenes. One of the things that I've always been proud about is when you guys see a strain with TGA come out, you watched it being developed. You saw the mom, you saw the dad. So
right. When you grow TGA at Christmas time, you'll know that it was just, you can look online and see when it was pollinated.
So we're going to work hard with people like Jason, Fino Seed Bank, and will with Urban, and we're going to develop these strains watching the test results. You'll be watching hell, you guys can vote on them. You know, be like, we have the 5 jelly beans. Here's the cannabis profile for this one. Here's, you know what I'm talking about? So, and I think this is the new age of cannabis coming. So I'm pretty excited about it. And again, I'm not embarrassed to say that I see people online that are growing. I'm gonna pick on one. This Team Terpene. You guys see him growing the Jilly Bean and the Marion Bay online? Could one person know more about one pot? And I don't mean I mean one pot. He's like, the soil is 77 degrees and the pH at the bottom of pot. I feed it this. I've never seen anyone grow cannabis like that. And that's the kind of people we want going into, whether it be 500 seeds, which is, by the way, the project that Will and them are talking about is Jilly Bean, Jack the Ripper, and Quirkle. 500 fucking pheno hunt with labs. This is historical, baby. Nobody's doing this. Duke did 1,000 search for the Vortex male, but he didn't do it publicly. And that's what I want to do here is do this where we can actually see it and get our hands on it. So
I agree.
I am too.
Yeah. Okay. Jason, I got a couple more things here on the thing. So what is your favorite thing about the hemp industry?
I would say the size that it's gotten to already. You see, like we were talking about, we have governments that are at play now. That happened way quicker than the medical or the recreational side. So I see it going international very quickly and becoming a household thing. It is going to take a lot of work, but that's a lot of fun. So as a breeder, I'm excited. Like no get out, because it's like the early days when you started, when there was very few strains and a lot of progression. So that's where I feel as a breeder, it's like I have all these strains and very, very little space to do it. And that's a good thing. I mean, especially as a seed bank to be storing that much genetics. I was just talking with a customer today. I probably have half the European varieties, and I've only tested maybe 10% of them. But I've seen everything down to auto flowering already, which is pretty amazing. So I think that's a lot of fun, and we learn a lot of commercial things that I've helped on the cannabis side with these outdoor grows in Colorado, because we have water usage and fertilizer down to a T on a per plant basis when you have so many plants per acre. So when we went back to orchard basis, it definitely improved our growing game.
That's fucking awesome. Well, and it's really neat to see hemp take. So I mentioned before that whole activist thing. So there was a while, like when I read Jack's book and I formed the original websites. I don't know how many people. I formed a website back in the day called The Green Avenger, and it wasn't about selling seeds. It was about bitching. You guys know I can still bitch pretty good. But at that time, I met some guys from Canada, and they were advertising 3 things. They were advertising plywood made from hemp fiber, which is 10 times stronger than of plyboard, and 2x4s, again made from the fibers, and hemp concrete. So are you involved anyway in hemp concrete? Just maybe supplying? You make a lot of hemp.
Yeah. So we haven't yet. There's a couple of projects that I've been involved in that already had a supply, because they're all these small test kind of things. But you create a very good point. I always joke with people when I'm sitting around, I say everything around you can eventually be some sort of hemp-based alternative. Even the silicon chips in our computers, they just did a hemp graphene test, and that had an improved efficiency than silicon. So there's a huge market for hemp and its potential uses. And I try to tell people, this is cannabis. Like, this is the same stalk, the same root, the same buds, the same seeds, the same oil. It just doesn't have the psychoactive effect. So it is great, you know, and I definitely think that the uses are almost endless. I got quoted in a newspaper for 2,000. I think someone's going to laugh at that article like 20 years in the future when they look at it, and it's like 2 million hemp uses in this, you know, and I only said 2,000. So,
well, you know, sometimes it becomes more practical. When me and Jill formed TJ Clothing, we bought the standard Gildan box shirt, and I was like, what a piece of shit. And then we bought the hemp, everything. They're all, I call them box shirts. If you buy a shirt for $10 or $15, a box
Unisex.
shirt, concert shirt. I hate them. And one day, somebody gave me a hemp shirt. It's the one that says "God Hemp," and I put it on. I was like, "This thing just fits differently." And so me and Jill decided to sell hemp on the website. So if you buy a T-shirt from TJ Next, it's either bamboo, which is my other favorite renewable source. Very sexy. But the hemp shirts, and this is not a commercial. It's simple. You can't wear the damn thing out. They're kind of gray. I don't know if anybody on the panel has one on or not, but you can't wear them out. They last forever. So ours are 80% hemp with a 20% or cotton organic blend. Gives them a little bit of a soft feel. But if you preaching to the crowd, if you don't own a hemp shirt, go buy one. It really will become your favorite shirt pretty much.
Or
right
if you don't
out
have
of the
a
gate.
sub shirt, you should go buy one. Because
Bamboo.
yeah, this is the softest shirt I have in my closet. So like you said, back to bamboo and hemp. It's amazing.
You got to go. Well, we got to ask you something real quick. You got 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So Jilly's got to go, but we got to catch her around for 5 minutes. So you want to grab your awesome plant and tell us about your awesome plant? So I'm ditching Jill's question. She gets asked the same questions every week. So we'll freestyle with Jilly.
So, but here's the thing I want to tell. Here is my purple Afghani. She is 48 days. Very pretty lady.
His fucking plant is gorgeous. Just let me
She
tell
was
you.
a flower, so
Yep.
she
Root and
didn't
bloom.
veg at all. So
This is
I
the
love
show
it.
plant. If you guys aren't paying attention,
She's
this
our
is
live stream
this is
plant.
the show plant that's been hanging
She
out
looks
the
like
whole time.
grapes. Like
Yeah,
grapes.
she looks pretty.
Big resinous little buds there. Small.
So
little
what are you
plant all
gonna
the way down.
load her with first to test her?
Um,
Dude or
I am going to just throw her in with Dude next round.
Okay.
That's not my goal strain, but I am going to throw it in as a tester because it will be good regardless. It'll be her beefed up is what Space Dude gives. More resin and more size. I'm really excited to cross her with Jack the Ripper because then I'm going to get a very, very medicinal strain because Jack the Ripper, as we know, is high in THCV.
Can be.
Yeah, and mercium, and she's going to be high in linalool, and both of those together will have a fantastic medicinal strain that'll cover just about everything.
We were talking about cookie stuff. I hate that thing's not bigger, so you could make a batch of cookies out of it because it looks like good.
You know, I'm going to
cookie
do
stuff.
you a drop in flour on Fino.
So you
on top.
You picked up humble honey this week.
Yes.
And so you're going to start applying honey, which is for the Krebs
I've
cycle.
already started that
Start
on your
applying.
Pinot that I'm growing for you right now. She's about 38 days in.
Jill is unusual when in learning. She taught herself so much about growing, but also she asked me lots of questions. But a lot of times, if I give her 3 things to try at one time, she will simply put up a wall.
And
So
and
too
I
much.
like to, what I like to do is I like to ask people a lot of questions. I ask a lot of questions. I ask about every product I use. I wear the person out when they're presenting a new product to me. Even Andrew at Biotactics, we had quite a long, lengthy text conversation about the bugs he was giving me, what they're going to do. I want to know everything. And that's how I want to make sure the person that's giving it to me knows everything so that I know everything. I can share it with people later. And I want to make sure the product is really what they think it is. If they can't explain it to me well enough, then they really don't know the product and I'm not going to use it.
So the Mammoth people sent us another giant bottle, and Jill's resistant to use it. I've been reading online the benefits. So this is what I asked the Weed Nerd Nation, because I see both. So if you guys are using Mammoth starting in about your 2nd or 3rd week of flowering, because we've seen both. I mean, I have seen just literally
email me at Mz.Jill of TGA at Gmail. Let me know what you think. Either way, good or bad.
Yep. I've seen people say absolutely added at this day, it adds bulk, it adds this, but then I've also seen people, well, I use another product. There's one called Photosynthesis Plus, and it's another product similar. And then the owner of Photosynthesis Plus actually tagged on one of the emails from the Mammoth guys and said, I'll send you a gallon of the shit. I challenge you. So we would like some not advertising information. And I'm going to use the Mammoth on the outdoor garden, absolutely, and show you guys the results. But
How do you know what results you're going to get because it's not controlled?
Well, I'm going to do it on half.
They're all seedlings.
I know,
So
but I'm going to do a row.
to
I'll be
get
able to tell. But so let us know about that, and we sure would appreciate it. It is just a phosphorus unlocker. It's not magic, but they are really
What smells like bad vag? If it's, are you talking about mammoth pea? Does it make the buds taste and smell that way too? I'm not going to use it then.
Smells good. See, thanks, dude. You'll never use it now. Thanks, guys.
But no, but here's the deal. I just switched my super soil. I've just started using the Big Roots. I've been using Big Roots for quite a while, but now I'm using his Bloom formula along with my super soil, not in the mix, but added in as my base soil on my bigger plants. So I need to see what that's going to do. I can't put in a bunch of changes at once, or I don't know which one worked or which one failed. Start using the Humboldt honey as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to start using some teas. So that's about as far as I'm going to go. Teas are not really anything. That's just some blood meal. And
the nice thing about teas is Badger can just bring you a concentrate when he makes.
No, I'll make my own.
You're gonna start making your own now?
Make my own.
He's too messy.
No, I just want to know exactly what's in it. That's all.
She don't fuck around in the garden, let me tell you. So, well, thank you very much for that, and thank you for if you guys seen the garden lately, like it is super, super happy. Everything is on point. 4 locos loaded in.
4 locos. We've got going about 2 weeks in. I just dropped in Time Wreck. And I've got some more Time Wreck getting ready to go in soon. And I've got some Space Queen coming up after that. And after that, some more Time Wreck. And then some of my yummy Galactic Jack. That'll be a while, but I'm so excited.
And we're trying to decide to start a pack. We talked about Cheesequake. We talked about some other things.
But, I think it might be Tony's skunk, too.
We'll talk about it. It's kind of funny. We were talking about, Jason was talking earlier about choices and size. Personally. So we have this giant safe.
Get Tony's skunk.
Yeah. We have this giant safe down and all these things we want to grow. We want to go cheer. We want a crazy chain because we want a female hunt for that. We want to do Tony's skunk because Jill's a big skunk. The other day, I have the strain in my thing called the Heat. Which Pat made. It's the Scooby, and literally Scooby Time Mystery Machine. Pat did a post the other day. This is Heroes of the Farm. He said the mother of that strain is the absolute best cannabis he's ever grown and or fucking smoked. And I got 500 of them downstairs. You think I don't want to crack it? We're gonna have to build a bigger one one day. So
I'd like to run seeds because it's exciting, because I want to see if I get something new and exciting that nobody else has ever found before. Like when I found that grape Galactic Jack, I was like, oh my God, this is a lemon fucking 76-day strain and I got a 56-day grape.
All those flowers out too. Well, thank you very much, sweetheart.
You're welcome.
I do appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody. Why don't we just have one more bowl before we go out?
Jill will get everybody stoned. You guys just noticed that.
I'm still smoking on some very old Pinot from January. I harvested it. There's actually a picture of this bud right here on my Instagram. Someone asked me if it was a fake picture, but anyways.
No fakes.
She's just really pretty bud.
So I have on, I got to take them off or I'm going to go blind because my screen over here will fuck with your head. It's polarized for some shit, but these are the brand new Method 7 Evolution Suns. So they're Italian design frames, special lenses for outside, and they're badass in the sun. So again, if you got a monitor like me, an LED monitor.
And you know what else? You know what else they're amazing for? Those Method 7s? Pictures.
Taking pictures.
Pictures in your.
Oh yeah. Hey, would you do me a?
It's impossible to take pictures under an HPS.
Jason, you got to do me a favor, bro. You got to do me a bro favor. You got to teach Duke how to hold a pair of fucking Method 7s in front of his cell phone. He's one of the best growers on the planet, and his Instagram looks like he pissed on his lens, dude. I'll send him a pair for free. Tommy's Grow Room, right now. If you go to Tommy's Instagram right now, that's Brothers Grimm. It's covered in these massive buds at day 42. You can see the resin protruding. Method 6, yellow. He's like, this bud's purple. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, I'll tell him you said that. He might take offense as being a professional photographer, but like you said, you gotta know what you're doing in the grow room.
Speaking of Tommy, at Brothers Grimm, I would like to know. I had a question earlier from someone. I know that our Vortex Mel that we have now is the chosen cut from Tommy, and he chose it over how many
1,000 seeds.
1,000 seeds, and he chose this Vortex. So this is the new Vortex male that will be used to make Time Rex. So Vortex is a very stable strain. So I would guarantee it's going to be probably very similar. I would probably venture to say there will be no changes noticed. And if you notice a change, it would be for the better. So you got to watch out for that new strain coming.
Agreed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, Mz.Jill. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah.
Very cool, baby. All right, well, so we have some more news coming up right now. And thanks to my amazing producer. Oh, I want to kick it real quick over. Don't forget we have a charity. May look up the link real quick. We also have a couple of contests tonight, glean contests. So make sure you get your subscriptions into that. We will have a few minutes tonight for No Question Too Stupid. So if you guys want to enter in some questions, we will catch those in a little bit.
Just off of my back is starting to hurt me, you know, my scoliosis. So.
I understand. I'm sorry, baby.
No, it's quite all right.
Okay, cool.
So have a good night, everyone.
All right. Well, we were talking a little bit earlier about deadlights. So deadlights is in the house. And I mean, we do things so fast nowadays. So I just want to give you guys a little kind of lesson on the way things changed in history and TG. So in the old days, we would release a strain. Tons of pictures of it up on some grow site like Roll It Up or something like that. And then we'd get kind of people interested in it. And then you'd have to talk somebody in Europe and actually ordering the shit. And then you'd have to try to talk them into actually paying for the shit. So that was like, so then like once it got there, it was all this nondescript stuff. You got to understand in the old days, people that we dealt with, we didn't even email them. We didn't even talk to them. It's like you had to look on the website to see when Jack the Ripper appeared. So when it appeared, then you would maybe go to the website and try to order it or something like that. And it just took forever to get a strain launched. So this is how we launch a strain now. Once the data comes in, and I have enough data to know that it's not going to harm, that you guys think it's dank as shit. Or one of my breeders, great story. Tony has a strain out there right now that we're still running as a tester. It was one of the first strains he made. And the name of it, you pulled it, Tony. Can you tell us, why didn't you release that?
What strain was that?
Was that the Zorilla? Is that, I get names screwed up in my head. You had one you still tested?
No,
that was it.
Yeah, the locomotion male I had for that one was kind of stretchy, so it was just too big for me.
So he killed an entire line. He killed an entire line. So there are people still growing it. And by the way, I've seen Detroit Diesel entered in cups. I've seen people growing a prize cut, but the breeder did not pass it. And that was my point. He crushed it. He said, "Sub, I killed it." So you have to get past the breeder. You have to get past the weed nerds. You have to get past me. You have to get past Jill. Then we generally write up the strain and I launch it on the website. I send it to Peter. So that costs money to get on the site. So bam, we do that. I generally write an article about the strain and I send it to our friend Steve Elliott at Big Buds Magazine, who's the biggest weed nerd you've ever met in your life. And he puts up the article and then we get them to our distributors. Well, the bank difference is there's Tony's holding up what's coming to me. So you testers will be able to get a hold of those next week. But then we have people like Miss Rose, I Am, and Will. So Will's sitting here right here in the channel. So Will has shipping to all 50 states, cannabis seeds, great support. Also the tester. So he will be getting deadlights. So I guess my point on all this, it used to take a really long time for you guys to be able to get deadlights, but you're going to be able to order it first of next week. So we appreciate you stepping up, Will, and being able to provide that to people. Deadlights is 3 years in the making. So fucking pumped, dude. All right. Somebody wants to know about rosin pressing. So for those of you who watch me stream on the Instagram, if you're following me closely, you've pretty much watched how to learn how to make rosin. So a couple of things I've learned. Bud smashes better than weed. You can actually spend a lot of time with a pre-press fucking around and shit and waste a lot of time. I have actually found the best way to produce really good flower rosin, and this is going to see so rudimental, is simply reach in the bag, grab it, pull the stems out of the ass in, and smash the shit out of it with your hand. Your hand's pretty strong. Cram that shit down in the bag, whatever bag you want to use. We could spend an hour talking about the kind of bags, how to fold them, but I wish somebody had told me what I'm telling you now, okay? And you can fuck around with the pre-press for a week, and you can get kind of cool with it. you want to get as much weed in the bag as you can without any voids or any stems. Pretty simple. Next, I really wish somebody had told me this. When I was at the Rosin Tech booth, the guy took a pair of scissors out and he cut the bag this little cool way, and it folded over like this, like a little diaper. Well, I've been trying to do that shit for 3 weeks, and it has fucked up every one of my presses. What I learned is they're so long is because you can fold the damn things over on itself. So what I've been doing is closing the machine, putting the paper, I've been using oil slick paper in there. And then if you've got a weed bag, you just fold it over and you slide it into the press to where it doesn't unfold. I can't tell you how important this is. So don't try to fold a 1/4 of an inch over or a 1/2 inch over. You will fuck it up. Leave enough to fold the hell over. Oh my God, your quality goes up. A couple of things that people were very strong indicating me when I was making rosin. Some people were like, don't use the bags. Some people were like, do use the bags. The first week, I was convinced that if you use the bags to make flowers, you didn't know what you're doing. I know you can make really good rosin without the bags. The bags keep the flowers compressed in one location so that it can come out. And last but not least, if you haven't been catching this on the stream, everybody wanted to give me a time limit. And man, we fucked up so much squish. Badger was downstairs fucking up some Friday because he didn't have this information. Once you apply the heat coming out of your press, and then you go ahead and pump it up, and I think I've talked about this or not. I have a 10-ton press, and we were pressing at 3,000 pounds. What are you, stupid? Red line, motherfucker. There's a reason it's 10 tons. There's a reason they're 20 tons. So red line it and then wait. What you're going to see is, if you do it right, you're going to see your rosin bubbling, okay? The stupidest thing I ever did in my life was listening to a lot of people who all had opinions, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm releasing the press while it's still making resin. That, oh, 45 seconds is best, or 1 minute and 20 seconds. What's best is as long as it's still bubbling, as long as resin is still oozing out of the fucking machine, let it make some more resin. And if you will employ those few tips, I think your resin yield will go up significantly. Mine's up 300 to 400. I mean, I can actually go downstairs and press enough rosin to last 3-4 days now. So, and hash rosin's better than flower rosin. I think we kind of covered that. Favorite new strain being released is Tinto. I do not have the data for Tinto right now. I am not a CBD. Hey, I want to kick it back to Jason real quick. That's why I keep these guys in here.
What's up?
We were talking earlier about CBD. So I have a daughter who has some medical issues, and we got her some CBD pills, and we got her some CBD salve. She's got rheumatoid arthritis really bad. Anyway, she doesn't get great results with edible CBD. I don't get great results with pain, joint pain and stuff with CBD. My daughter gets it a lot more with the ointments and stuff, but we talked earlier before, Kim. I just wanted you to address, like, you said you think everybody can get results with CBD, but not everybody's using the right application, maybe?
Right. So a lot of people think that it's a dose-based thing. Like, if I go a higher dose, I'm going to have a better result. But that's not necessarily the case. You want to know the actual oil, or in this case, isolate, like we were talking about, or the back product used to manufacture the CBD product you're taking. A lot of people are going to respond better to full spectrum oil. There was actually a study done out of Israel last year where they showed there was no dose response curve to full spectrum oil in comparison to isolate, which you had to either do in a super small dose or a super high dose. So I think that's where this, I don't say misinformation comes from about CBD, but it has been a milligram chase. You'll see that on the bottles. Everyone's trying to get higher and higher, but we're trying to go the opposite way. We just released a strain called Awaken CBD, and we feel like that strain has a higher medicinal benefit when fully extracted out, whether it be rosin, or in this case, we do organic cane ethanol extraction with rotovapes. But either way, we believe that has a higher medicinal potential than a lot of these isolates you see that are being shipped in from overseas that aren't made from medicinal-based plants. They aren't from specialized hemp. They're leftovers. I don't want to say cattle feed. That used to be the joke, but some of it used to actually be labeled not for human consumption. and people were taking this material and making isolate and selling it in bulk back here to the US. So know where your product comes from is key with CBD products.
Okay, excluding crappy trim, is there a difference between CBD derived by a cannabis strain or derived by a field of hemp?
It actually just depends. So a lot of the hemp varieties that have been bred are what I call gray area. So they're marijuana cousins, or they had a marijuana parent in the genealogy, so that you get the same sort of CBD effect, which can sometimes be super relaxing, almost like a tired stone type of feeling. The strain that we just released is sativa dominant. So it actually has all the pain relieving effects, but it keeps you uplifted during the day. We actually tried it with a couple non-cannabis users, and they didn't feel that and they used it in the morning, and they didn't feel that come down that you would normally experience if you were using a marijuana CBD derived oil or product.
Well, this is really interesting, and on a personal level, a lot of people, for the weed nerds, they usually don't see me before 10:30 or 11 o'clock. One of the things that alpha causes is lack of oxygen. We talk about that, but when I sleep, I'm basically suffocating, and I don't wake myself up because I take a lot of shit to keep myself. So I wake up, oh man, like I am in so much pain. And yeah, I can sit around and smoke a bunch of fucking Beazle's extracts, but then I'm so fucking high I can't work. So I would really be interested in trying some of your products that's geared toward pain relief without kicking my ass. So
well, I was about to say I'm sending you some immediately, so you and Mz.Jill and your daughter can try them out.
I do appreciate that very much on a personal level. All right, I want to get with Sid Avery real quick. He's been patiently hanging out. I hadn't seen my little bro in a couple of weeks. He's been busy. Tell us what's going on in the garden world, dude. What's up?
Taking care of thrips. I've been using soaps and stuff. They're actually successfully going away, so that's good. And I can actually show you guys a quick video really quick of another garden.
Please do so.
Right here, some OGs. It's one of those strawberry fields forever's kind of little videos, just walking through. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to.
You're taking care of that one too?
Yep, sure am. And here I am showing I clean them out on the bottom. But because it's so much and I'm doing it by myself pretty much, I'm doing like basically 2 or 3 a day after watering, and then over time it'll get done.
So that's where Sid's been. He's working he's a ganja prisoner. That's what I'm fucking talking about. So we also got thrips, which is, by the way, a pain in the ass because we are literally in the middle of a clone situation. And I've talked about this before. I'm not making any excuses, but this is what happened. Transitional. So before Mz.Jill came here, we used a shitload of spinosad. Captain Jack's Dead Bug Spinosad. Spinosad's a great product. It's on my list. It won't hurt you. I think you can drink it. Like, it won't. I wouldn't recommend it, but it won't fuck with you. So it kills soil-borne bugs. So everything was in check. So Jill uses a little bit different system. She uses beneficial bugs from Biotactics Andrew. So she uses miles, Nemespaces miles to crawl all around the plant, eat fungus gnats, and uses something else for something else. And so we stopped treating, and I'm pointing no fingers here. All soil is made fucking outside. Okay, it is what it is. If you buy soil, the shit was probably sitting in a parking lot or a slab or a big fucking mountain last week. So whatever from whatever, we got thrips. Because we didn't have spinosad in the soil, they grabbed a hold a little bit and they came up our plants. So, and I wish I could tell you the name. It sounds like cucumber or coramun or something like that, but it's they're predator bugs. I knew you'd say it. What is it?
Cucumeris.
Do they work?
Yeah, they work well. I'm actually battling thrips myself right now, and they seem to do the job in my room. I used the Cucumeris and the Swerskis. We put the Swerski in the soil to clean up, I think, the adults, and then the Cucumeris took care of all the larvae that get on the leaves.
Biotactics even gave us these little cool bags, so you hang the bags from the plant. It's like you don't want to be sprinkling shit on your plant. I mean, it's it's
pretty neat. It's a neat little system. It's like they give you the little green. It's like a little green bag. You just put like a little teaspoon of the bug shit in there, and then you staple.
And then walk out.
Yeah, you staple your leaf on it just with a staple gun, and then they just climb up the leaf and then get on the plants that way. So that way you don't have to worry about getting them all over your buds and shit. So
yeah, so that
works
kind of
well.
makes cool sense. And yeah, no, and the thing that, so if you want, there's two cool things sometimes about being who we are. So, Andrew was definitely, he hooked us up because Jill was using another company who she likes a lot, Evergreen Supply, I think. Good company. I can't say anything bad because the only thing bad I can say about them is they haven't come on our show. So anyway, so Andrew, he got really excited. So he sent us like 25 fucking bottles of these things. Like he sent us enough to treat a greenhouse for a 6x12 grow room. So she applied them everyone. The soil-borne bugs come in vermiculite. And then, like we said, the stuff on the plants crawl. And these are the first bugs that Jill has ever released in a garden that actually crawl on her plants. Jill's a germaphobe. Like if I wash a dish out, Jill will pick it back up and wash it again. So she actually hates the goddamn thrips so bad, she's got bugs walking on her plants. We still have not had anybody explain properly where the good bug shit goes. The best had yet is Andrew, who said the good bugs don't shit as much. That's what Andrew said. Literally, that's what the motherfucker said on our show. I was like, well, where? He goes, well, the good bugs don't shit as much. I was like, okay, dude, what the fuck? All right, back to the business. Okay, so deadlights, you guys talked about it. TJ will have it ASAP. Oh, I forgot to mention something really kind of sad. I got to go back to you guys. So I am not at Hemp Fest this year, and I can barely look at the feeds. I get all verklempt. Y'all know the word verklempt? Because I miss it. TJ was basically started in a little booth called Dank Gear Online at Hemp Fest. We didn't even have the fucking book. We sold a piece of paper that said you could get the book when the book came in. We didn't sell seeds. We sold rip cords. We had an ad for this rip cord. Jill's got one somewhere. The thing on her bong that holds a lighter, it's a rip cord. Still have them. They never wear out. They cost $3 to buy, about $1 to make, $2 profit. I was literally sitting one day looking at a High Times magazine at the ripcord, waiting for somebody to order the ripcord. And I was looking at the other page, which had a giant seed ad. And I went, seeds? Fuck ripcords. Let's make seeds. And TJ was formed right there at Hemp Fest. But if you guys have never been to Hemp Fest, it's a fucking hour walk from one stage to the other. It's fun, dude. It's a lot funner if you're younger. But it's basically a mosh pit. It's a 3-day mosh pit of people smoking weed. It's a lot of fun. If you are in the area, make sure you go by there and go by the Miss Rose and Jinx Proof are there with TJ Genetics as well as 9 Pound Hammer. You guys drive me crazy with my 9 Pound Hammer. You guys can get it. So this is the drama with 9 Pound Hammer now that I don't sell it anymore. I want you fuckers to buy him out so fast so that he has to answer 8,000 emails. How do I get 9 Pound Hammer? So that he can say you can't. So that's my big show. I want you guys to buy all of the 9 Pound Hammer tomorrow so that we don't have to fucking do. So, all right, let's see what else. Scarlet Queen, G13 times Space Queen. Killer Queen times Space Queen. This is a cross I made many years ago. Jason lost it because of space constraints. It's just one of those things. It's one of those, how many strains can we put on the TJ menu? Well, at the time, 12. Just so you guys know, next week at this time, a network of breeders and genetics, 50 fucking strains right here in America. Made in America, baby. Never been overseas. Never ran from the fucking law. We did it right here on camera. So I'm pretty proud of that. But respect to my breeders. I did not create all of these strains myself. I make sure you guys understand that. I didn't create Pennywise. I collaborated with someone. Chernobyl was made by damn dioxide, a guy I don't even speak to anymore. So the business is strange. People come and go, but I never want to not give respect to the people that I have worked with in this industry. And one of them, he's putting his stuff through the same torturous network that we have, putting it out to the Weed Nerd Nation. Let people grow it out. Let people tear it up, beat it up, and then we'll find out if it's any good or not. Lemon Stilton is now on the menu. That's the cheese times JTR. Kind of had the idea, I don't know if you guys know, cheese is really good for body pain. Potent. You can sit around and consume a lot of it. Dave up there at Whedon, he grows a whole tunnel of this shit. So I had the idea if we could cross it with the Jack the Ripper and get some THCV out of it, we could combine that cheese painkiller relief with a little bit of that CB2 side on the THCV. And that's really about it for us. Shout outs, of course, Alpine Alternatives. We sure appreciate everything they do. You can stop down there and sack and pick out gear from them. Green Grows, awesome people. We still use their products every day. Dripworks, I have not given nearly enough grief to Chris. Chris came out here when I was all stressed the fuck out. I was basically yelling at him off the deck. Does it fucking work? Hey, you. I mean, I was being kind of a dick about it. Anyway, it's worked from day one. I mean, we literally, all we do is we tea the plants twice a week. His dripwork system is supplying, I think it's 31 gallons on the 400s and like 24 gallons on the 150s. They're all measured out and everything. And for real, it cost me about $450 for a guy to come out and set all 12 of my pots, and I mash a button. So can't say enough for somebody that knows a little bit about irrigation. So that would be the Dripworks guys. Of course, Extreme, Mycos, and Azos, they've been taking care of us for a long time. And Mammoth P will be coming on a future show, and I will be using it in the outdoor garden. Minnesota Nice, what we got, buddy?
All right, I'm going to take you guys out tonight with some Mindo Dope, Why We Grow.
We will see you guys on the after show. Thanks to all my guests.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. It's been a freaking amazing show.
Thank you, Jason.
Anytime you want to, Jason.
You've been great, for sure. No doubt.
Thank you.
That's me, Ricky, somebody else.
Why we grow, and this is why we grow. Why we grow, why we grow.
Tony, thank you for coming on the evening on the strings. Much love.
Right on, man.
Why we grow, this is why we grow. Sting man a boy, and this is how it goes.
We grow.
That's the way we grow. That's the way we
You guys don't forget to hook up our charity tonight. Don look like he's pretty
This is why we grow, and this is why we grow.
We're going to talk about worms and maggots on the after show.
Farmer growing my personal medication. Why am I even in this police station? All I did was grow some cannabis, giving clean meds to the patients. They wasting time and all they money saying that it's a crime. I done took prescription pills and they was having me out my mind. You'd rather find that on me than this bag of Doja. If I could talk to God, he'd probably tell me you're doing just what I told you. Never thought that I'd grow up to be a grower, but I did. Just think it all started out back in the day when I took that ganja hit. Opened up my mind and it had me thinking about my options. Wondering why these pharmacies so quick to have us pill popping. It's a money scheme. They don't want us using green. They don't get no cut off someone selling dank to you and me. I know I'm brutally honest, but I keep it real, saying chemicals kill and cannabis heals. That's why we grow.
And this is why we grow. Why we grow. Why we grow. Why we grow. Singing out of why we grow. Why we grow. This is why we grow. And this is how we go.